people in our rehabilitation center this year are different from past seasons.
Past students have often showed up with no nailing skills, no electrical skills, certainly no plumbing skills. But this year's batch, well, they know how to operate their tools. They just don't know what to do with them. At all. This is Canada's Worst Handyman.
The first candidate for Canada's Worst Handyman is Angie from Minto, New Brunswick.
My name is Angie, and I've been nominated by my stubborn, pig-headed, pain-in-the-butt husband, Roy, for Canada's Worst Handyman. You can't tell it's all busted. Okay.
I nominated the good-for-nothing wife of mine for Canada's Worst Handyman because none of her projects turn out the way she thinks they do.
We found our next candidate in Gatineau, Quebec.
Je m'appelle Eric. J'ai été nominé pour Canada's Worst Handyman par mon ami Marc.
What really annoys me about Eric is that he starts a job and he does a job at it. He doesn't finish it.
I'm fixing my table with duct tape.
Our next abysmal builder lives in Sarnia.
My name is Brian. I've been nominated as Canada's Worst Handyman by my wife, Veronica.
There's evidence of all his wonderful handiwork around the house.
This floor is rotten.
Our next candidate hails from Ottawa.
I'm Brian, and I've been nominated by my son Brennan to be Canada's Worst Handyman.
There's nobody I know in the world like my father when it comes to building stuff.
Our westernmost nominee is a self-described tool phobic from Red Deer.
My name is Johnny, and my wife Darlis has nominated me for Canada's Worst Handyman.
It's important for me that Johnny gets better for his own self-confidence.
I'm not going to be able to do this.
Here at our far-flung rehabilitation center, Canada's Worst Handyman will be getting expert guidance from Jeff Woodmansey.
I'm going to use a pedo level because I don't have a lot of room in here.
And Gail Prosser-Craig.
Whatever the thickness of your material is, double that, and that's what you should be using for your screw.
This bathroom has to go. In fact, every bathroom in this lodge has to go. So, the next challenge for Canada's Worst Handymen is to get rid of their existing toilets. They also have to dump their sink, their vanity, their bathroom floor covering, lots of stuff.
All right, it's demo day.
To tear down his wall covering,
You want the sledgehammer?
No. What for?
Brian M. wants to use an axe. Angie's got her feet going. And Johnny's using his hands. Ah! When everyone gets two walls completely pulled apart,
Ow! Oops, sorry.
it's time to dismantle the bathroom.
Oh.
In Angie's bathroom,
Well, that was on there something good.
the work is happening so aggressively, she's bleeding.
I just cut my wrist.
Her forearm's cut too.
Oh, I like it. I'm all cut to hell. I look like I got in a fight with a cat.
We're asking the handymen to do this sort of demolition to assess their level of common sense.
I cut my arm all to pieces. I got gouged in my hand. I put my hand on a piece of glass.
Ah! This is where my nightmare starts.
Johnny starts by trying to disconnect the sink.
Okay, you son of a... You're coming off. Uh-oh.
What?
I think I just bent a pipe all to...
To remove a sink, start by unscrewing the supply line to the taps.
Let the water feeds go, and this sink is ready to come out except for the drain.
Expert Jeff cuts the drain off, preserving this P-trap for use later. When the vanity's unscrewed, everything comes easily out. For the toilet plumbing, start by closing this shutoff valve, which stops water from flowing up the feed line to the tank. Then unscrew that feed line. Flushing empties the tank. Emptying the bowl of its contents is a little more hands-on. To free the toilet from the floor,
It's one tool, 2 simple bolts.
1 wrench and 1 minute is all you need. Eric kicks things off by snapping his toilet tank.
There's water everywhere.
Then he pops the bowl off and pours its excess water into the sink, which is a sad last job for a sink.
Here you go, Mark.
When Eric's shower gets stripped,
Mark! Done deal.
his demo is done correctly in less than 2 hours.
This is like the biggest demolition I ever done in my whole entire life.
Brian M. has become very confused.
This will discombobulate.
Brian is so confused, he's taking the toilet tank off while it's still full of water.
Okay, I got a hole now and it's leaking. Ha!
It's leaking so much, water is flowing through this gap where his molding used to be. Brian, can you come here with me for 1 sec, please? Very quickly. Carrying a toilet isn't exactly quick, but Brian does make it downstairs in time to see where his water is going. So this, look.
Oh,
This is what we're talking about. And that's just stuff
above my room?
Yeah.
There's nothing I could do.
Brian's demo job is a big mess.
Yep, I'm not the handyman today.
Brian P.
Maybe a hacksaw again.
is cutting off the valve that controls the flow to his toilet tank. This means he'll have nothing to screw the new water line onto.
Brian P. is creating a big pain in the rear end for himself. You do not remove the shutoff valve for your toilet.
The nuts and bolts holding Angie's toilet down have rusted together.
Okay, I don't have 2 ass clues how to turn this.
So, Roy suggests
Here,
cutting the bolts off.
just go back and forth with the hacksaw on the bolt.
Angie tries to go back and forth, but it's not really working.
Okay, Roy, my arm is breaking. Can I just beat it off?
Apparently, Angie can beat off a toilet.
Oh, yeah, that felt good, smashing this crap.
This is not demolition, this is annihilation.
Ah! Hey, Roy! Want your bolt?
What's most disturbing about this type of demolition is that now Angie has pieces of her toilet in her waste pipe.
That's friggin' nasty sticking your hand in here. Hang on, I'm trying to pull the glass out.
Watch your fingers.
What's this? Roy, do I need this?
That's just the old ring, I think, yeah.
Oh, man. It's everywhere. It's black. It's yellow. It's blue. Yeah, that was nasty. Nasty. Waxy. Gross. Digging your hands in the drain is absolutely disgusting.
To remove bath hardware correctly, just remember that it all screws off. The tub faucet screws off. The taps screw off. The shower head screws off. Even the pipe that the shower head screws off of screws off.
Brian P. isn't unscrewing his shower head. He's cutting it off with a hacksaw. He's also using a hammer's claw to remove his taps. And he's getting nowhere with the tub valve. Brian P. took the easiest route and thinks his work is good.
You would not believe how easy being a good handyman is.
Angie's husband has told her that the shower fixtures should unscrew.
What the hell?
But she can't figure it out.
I'm supposed to get that off. Unscrew ya, cut ya off, eh? Oh, yeah. Problem, I don't think that part's supposed to come off.
None of the internal plumbing is supposed to come off.
I can't believe she's beating the knobs off with a sledgehammer.
This is gonna take so much extra work to finish your washroom.
Here. Whole pipe now. Yes, I'm done. I got a massive hole in the wall, and I don't care.
Angie's sledgehammer technique is something she wants Johnny to try.
You know what's gonna feel so good to bust that toilet out of there?
Come on, come on. Give me the sledgehammer.
There you go, buddy. Get your woo! Get there. That's it, buddy. There we go. Woo! There goes the sink.
You know it's out of control when you're sledgehammering a light socket.
Well, that's demolition of sorts.
This kind of bad work might be good for Johnny.
Yeah, that last 5 minutes felt friggin' great. It just felt great.
After the break, workbenches get assembled.
Right now. Oh, shoot, we're in the mold.
Before the nominees for Canada's Worst Handyman cut one more board, they're first going to have to assemble the workbenches they bought 2 days ago. And to do that, they're going to have to follow instructions, or very strange things might happen.
To me, instructions are crap. Do what you want to do.
The instructions for the workbenches
There's no words.
are mostly shown in pictures.
There's no words in the instructions. I don't understand pictures because there's no words on it. Follow instructions, but there ain't no words on it. Picture instructions are for people that don't really want to know what they're doing. They're crap.
I'd rather see it in pictures.
Johnny is a professional writer, but written instructions confuse him.
These two pieces are not explained very well.
Manuals and instructions, that's where all my nightmares and anxiety starts.
I think we put this one on the wrong way. We did.
Instructions for low IQ people. So screw the instruction.
Without studying the instructions, Eric has incorrectly dismantled the spring-loaded vise.
And that's what I'm trying. I'm just about to throw this piece of garbage.
In the experts' room,
Step 3, install the adjustable clamps.
their workbench is coming together quite casually.
Stand that puppy up.
It's done in just 15 minutes. When we took Canada's Worst Handyman shopping for supplies, they all knew the challenges that lay ahead.
We have to build a workbench, you know?
Yeah. Can't we just go buy one?
You know what? No, we want to make one.
While everyone else picked up a workbench, an electric razor is what Brian P. got.
I think they're good.
At the cash, he still didn't have a workbench.
And you know something in life, if you don't have everything, you can make something out of nothing.
Brian P. has nothing, but he's not going to make something.
I gotta build a workbench, but I don't think I'm going to.
The rest of the bad handyman, however,
Oh, Douglas, please.
are beginning to fight.
Don't move that.
Why did you get something so confusing?
If you calm down instead of just freaking out and freaking going on like you are.
Look at this!
Yes, all right, just calm down.
Who's gonna make me, you? Who's gonna make me calm down?
Well, do it yourself.
So is that standard for you and Roy to fight at home if you're doing handiwork?
Oh, yeah. He gets right on my last nerve.
Even so, Angie needs Roy's help to finish.
I'm tired of listening to you going on like you always do.
I'm trying to get you to come in and help me, and you
you're
won't
being
listen.
so nice too, aren't you?
Angie's either always too nice or too angry.
I gotta find some kind of middle ground, and I don't know how to do that.
Brian M.
Holy frig.
Is also having a very tense fight. Except his is with his workbench.
Oh, shoot. Did I put it on backwards? Upside down? Crooked? Inside out? Ow!
Brian M. doubts himself, but he is making progress.
It doesn't work. Oh, man. I must have done it backwards.
Brian M.'s workbench is actually fine.
It's tight now, Veronica. I got her.
Eric wants to give up.
These are not made for normal people.
Because all of his parts have been scattered.
This is like pointless to do now. We don't even have the part to like, put it on.
Eric's done, but his workbench isn't. Johnny is coming unglued. In fact, Johnny might completely fall apart before his bench goes together.
I'm pushing past phobias and fears and anxieties, things I've never done before in my entire life.
Johnny is almost done.
Oh, boy.
But he's giving up.
We're not sure how the turning things work.
Yeah, I got to figure out that later, how to tighten it a bit.
Johnny's bench remains a mystery.
I'm going to have a sleepless night about it.
The next challenge for Canada's Worst Handymen is to cover one wall of their bedroom with rustic, rough-hewn timber. For our experts, the job begins with Gail cutting foam to cover the wall.
Nothing fancy, utility knife and a straight edge, and we just cut the styrofoam.
Large washers are used to prevent the screws from pulling through the foam.
We're done.
To cut their wood, the circular saw is set on a 45-degree angle to make corner joints.
Beautiful, perfect fit.
And it's set on a normal 90-degree angle for any cuts that meet a wall. Marks on the styrofoam show where the hidden studs are, and when all the wood is screwed in place, this step's done.
Next step is chink the wall.
Chink is also called purging. It's basically mortar, and it gets piped into the spaces, then smoothed down with a wet wooden shim. This entire job takes our experts 2.5 hours.
Just that easy.
Yep.
To make it easy on the bad handyman, Jeff is explaining all the particulars.
Make sure you find your studs. You put your wood into place.
Most important is installing the wood horizontally.
Once your wood's up.
If the wood isn't up horizontally, what will the purging rest on?
This purging material goes in between each board?
Yes.
Oh, I see.
And with that, the build begins. Brian M. cuts his foam perfectly.
I want to keep these for spare parts.
But Johnny is having some difficulties. So Darlis wants him to melt the foam with a soldering gun.
This will make your life a lot easier. You just press the trigger.
It doesn't work. And a wood saw is also not the sharpest idea.
This isn't working either.
Eric doesn't have washers.
I can't believe I forgot to buy those. Improvise!
When wooden shims don't work,
no nails needed.
Eric decides to stick his foam to the studs using an all-purpose adhesive
That's a good plan.
Brian P. forgot to buy washers and screws.
Hey, we've got finishing nails.
You have that in your hair.
What?
This.
Where? Here?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Brian M.'s problem in this challenge stems from his inadequacies when it comes to screwing.
Oh, frig.
To put it mildly, Brian M.'s screwing lacks elegance. And when screwing, elegance should always be the goal. Angie could also learn to do her screwing with a little more finesse. And Johnny, well, he just likes screwing way too much.
Do you think you need that many, dear?
Yeah, I do. I do. I really do. I do believe I do.
Okay.
I'm certain that I do.
For his wood walls, I want Brian P. to try screwing with a drill and cutting with a power saw.
I never use a saw. No friggin' way.
After a little pressure, Brian P. agrees to try using the drill.
Oh, wow.
Whoa, what the
With a little practice,
once you learn how to use a drill, it's not bad.
this virgin screwer can't get enough.
Ouch! Jesus, that hurt.
What happened?
These screws went in my ass, man.
While Johnny searches for his knife,
We just had a.
Johnny, I don't know where it went.
Well, it was here. I just used it.
Angie wants to install her wood the wrong way.
No, okay, I don't want it that way.
This way?
Yeah, I want it that way.
Screwing the wood up vertically means the chinking will have nothing to rest on.
How bad would nails be? I'd rather use a nail.
The problem with nails is that they're harder to control. The hammering leaves dents in the wood. And in the end, nails just aren't as strong as screws.
Oh, crap.
When we come back, Brian M. quits rehab.
I'm sorry. Goodbye.
Most of the nominees for Canada's Worst Handyman are enjoying their educational stay in rehab.
Every day I've been here, I've learned a lot.
I'm learning a lot.
I'm learning a lot.
I learned how to tighten stuff.
But Brian M. wants to learn faster.
I'm not getting the training I would like to get out of this.
This morning, Brian M. doesn't want to finish his rough wood wall covering.
Any questions?
Yeah, before we go, could we get some instructions on some of the big power tools?
Absolutely. Today, though, we're going to do the finishing of the boards and then purging in between. Go!
Perfect.
I'm not going to go until I get some lessons. I feel very uncomfortable.
Brian M. can't comfortably handle a circular saw or a drill. But now he wants to start handling the largest, most dangerous tools we have on site.
I'm not going to do anything until I'm shown these power tools, all of them. If you can promise to me right now that during this time period today, that I'll learn all these tools here, I'll go do my project. Until then...
I promise you that you will not learn all these tools here today. We've got a 15-day educational system worked out.
I'm sorry. Goodbye.
But Brian...
The tools are intimidating. I walk in the door and there's big saws and on stands and you know, names like craftsmen just sort of staring me in the eye. And I don't even know these things.
You don't need them for this job.
That's all right. I need them for my job, my life.
But we're going to get there. It's day 3,
Are you promising that?
Yeah, I'm promising you that.
Can you promise me that today?
You need to understand how to use a circular saw that's handheld before you move on to a big thing.
So you're gonna okay, well, can I get your commitment saying you're gonna show me these things?
Good Lord, how many times do I have to tell you? We're going to teach you how to use the saws.
Okay.
You're going to understand the power tools. You're going to understand the hand tools.
I'm not as annoyed by this as Eric is.
Get going!
Yeah.
Get the freaking going now!
Let's get going.
You're distracting me! Get the out of here!
Angie gets her purging material mixed to a cake frosting consistency.
It is like making a cake.
But with her wood on vertically, the purging has no hope of staying in place.
Falling down the wall. I'm not doing something right, am I? Look at it all falling and hitting the floor. Oh, yeah.
Angie is so confused by this gravitational phenomenon, she wants Eric to explain.
I'm going up and down the walls and it's all falling and hitting the floor. Am I missing a step?
You might be too thin.
Johnny is also nailing his wood up vertically, although, unlike Angie, Johnny doesn't hammer very well. This nail takes him 61 painful swings.
Ow! Oh, did you hit your thumb?
In Brian P's room, the purging is going on the wall quite quickly. In fact, Brian P says you can stick a fork in this job.
Done like dinner.
But Brian P's wall has a lot of uncovered foam. Instead of nailing his wood up in even rows,
I can do here or there, doesn't matter. Whatever one you want.
Brian M is creating a patchwork wall.
Where? Where do you want it? Where do you want it?
When his gappy wood is ready for the purging, Brian M wipes water on everything.
I'm gonna wet it because just as a bonding, sometimes they need that. I don't know.
Brian M needs serious help.
And then you can clean it up as I slap it in. Hi, Andrew. How thick are we supposed to be putting this on? Now we can sand over this, right? Once it's sort of in there.
Cement-based products cannot be sanded.
Brian should be doing is using the piping bag, and if he had installed his boards properly, he wouldn't have the big gaps.
You're finding your hands are best?
Well, right now, because they've got moisture on them.
You certainly don't want it on the face of the wood.
Okay.
Okay.
That's perfect.
Brian's job is his usual mess.
A professional would leave here with clean hands.
Angie has had enough of the falling purging.
Hey, Roy, let's do spray foam. Give me a can of spray foam.
That's what you want.
So now she's using expanding insulating spray foam.
Look how much easier that is, huh?
It's for use in hidden areas, around windows, and anywhere there might be a draft. Oh, yeah, and it takes about an hour to dry.
It's just knocking it all off.
Angie's wall is a misguided disaster.
For me, that's good. That's an awesome job for me.
Eric is reading instructions.
Le mélange d'enduit sur une surface blablabla.
As a result, Eric's wall goes up perfectly.
We learned so much. I mean, it's just a nice opportunity to be here.
As usual, Johnny is having a tough time.
More keeps falling on the floor than anything else. I can't work with two hands simultaneously. I can't do it.
Two hands is twice as handy.
I can't work simultaneously with two friggin' hands.
After the break, floors go down and then come back up.
I quit.
The nominees for Canada's Worst Handyman are about to begin transforming their bathrooms, starting with the floor.
In a bathroom, you want to lay the floor first because that's the best way to make the seal around the base of your toilet leak-proof. And considering what's leaking down here, you're going to want that leak-proof.
As I explained to the bad handyman how to lay a vinyl floor, measure the room, our experts are already doing it. First, they make a full-size template of the floor using paper. Then they mark that pattern onto a large sheet of vinyl. When the vinyl is cut, they settle the piece perfectly in place and then roll some of it back so the adhesive can be spread on the floor with a notched trowel. When the entire floor is glued, all the air bubbles get removed with a rolling pin. The experts are done in exactly an hour.
That's it.
Angie wants her template wrinkle-free. But first, she'll have to shut her door.
Okay, but I can't get in.
Yeah.
On her second attempt, Angie makes a perfect template, but...
Oh, great. I just tore the damn tape apart.
After some quick surgery, Angie thinks her template is fine.
Okay.
Brian P's toilet area template shouldn't be worn as a costume.
Don't forget that where that was.
Oh. And it shouldn't be this small.
Oh, but you've only got a tiny piece. Yeah. Why do you only have a tiny piece?
Brian M's got a full-sized piece, but as soon as his toilet opening is cut, Brian removes his vinyl and covers his entire old floor with adhesive.
I might run out of adhesive, Veronica.
Now, getting the vinyl in cleanly is downright impossible.
I don't hear what you're saying.
I'm saying Brian's feet are covered in adhesive, his hands are covered, and the floor is covered.
I'm just trying to get these bubbles out real quick. I'm trying to get the bubbles out. I can't get this bubble out.
Flooring a bathroom is something Brian M. has to do at home.
When you go home, are you going to do this?
I don't know if my wife will let me do that.
Johnny's vinyl is also being fitted after the glue's gone down.
Okay, you got to pull on your side, Dar. Let's push it towards the wall.
Johnny does get the material in place, but it's in two pieces, and it's wrinkly.
It's another abomination.
This is some hard. Honest to God.
When Angie stretches her floor into place,
There.
it doesn't fit.
I got this damn floor too short somehow. Ma, how'd that happen? Whole thing's it's too short.
Angie's work is getting worse.
I've not even done this before. I never it up this bad.
Brian P's never done this before, and he'll never try again.
I'll tell you, the one thing I learned today is that I will never put down a floor at home myself.
Brian P's floor has been abandoned.
Okay.
Over in Eric's room, he's hooking up his brand new compressor. Instead of laying his vinyl,
Oh, nice! It works, Mark!
Eric is laying a new subfloor. But he's using plywood that's just 1/8 of an inch thick. So all he's really doing is wasting time.
Yeah.
I would suggest you're slowing yourself down just because you wanted to play with the gun. Had nothing to do with finishing the job. You're just one of those guys who wants to go out and...
The challenge is over. And Eric hasn't even started.
Everybody else is done again, and I'm not done.
When we come back,
2 is 4.
It's this episode's group challenge.
He's been quadruple checking.
On our first episode this season, the nominees for Canada's Worst Handyman made such a solid bar, we realized they should be able to add onto their bar. Our design team came up with the idea of using the bar as a foundation for a 14-foot tall ice fishing hut. To build the shelter's pieces, we've created a series of seemingly random projects for the handymen to accomplish. On their final day in rehab, they'll bring the pieces they made out here. Then they'll assemble the ice hut that they didn't even know they made. At least that's the plan. Today's random project is building the two pieces that will be the A-frame's roof. And Johnny is project foreman.
6.5 by 14 feet, okay?
10 minutes ago, Johnny learned how to make a roof by learning how to make a floor. It's the exact same process.
These 4 pieces of wood are called rim joists. Everything in between is called a joist.
Okay.
An A-frame roof or a standard floor has joists that are 16 inches apart from center to center.
It's 16 inch on center, always. That's why if you look closely on your measuring tape, every 16 inches is marked out.
Didn't know that.
These are called joist hangers. This is what's going to hold up your joist for the next 200 years in your house.
Brian M. and Angie are making one roof piece according to Johnny's instructions.
That's 14 feet, exactly. Oh, I like that.
And Brian P. and Eric are following the same instructions.
I had to go in there and tell the 2 groups, I split them up into 2 groups, tell them what to do.
Each team begins with a frame. Angie wants to cut wood without measuring.
Why don't we just measure?
Because I don't get math. I'm not a math person.
Brian P. and Eric apparently aren't math people either.
We got the frame done.
Okay, excellent. It's too long. This was supposed to be 14 feet.
The builders used 14-foot-long side pieces, but they capped each end with a 2x6, making the entire structure too long.
I ask you, those have to be 14? You said me yes.
Well, I told you at the beginning this thing had to be 14 feet by 6.5 feet.
Yes?
It's too long.
2 is 4.
After half an hour of measuring and measuring and then measuring and then measuring again,
He's been quadruple checking.
Angie and Brian M. need more instructions.
None of them are hammered in. Why?
Yeah,
I don't understand why you're waiting.
10 minutes later, Brian M. thinks he might have mismeasured earlier.
Hold this. I'm serious.
We know you're serious.
After a full hour, Angie and Brian M. still haven't made Johnny's frame.
That's not quite flush.
Yeah, that's how it's lining up, though.
Oh, no.
When the frame is complete, the joist hangers are attached, according to code, with 6 nails.
Fits perfectly?
Almost. There.
Fits perfectly.
Then 6 more nails go from the hanger to the joist.
Oh, I'm not a very good hammerer.
Eric and Brian P. are working so fast,
It's off, man.
it's making them slow.
Something's wrong, man.
You know what? You're flipping out. You're starting to panic, man. Stand up.
You know what? It's crooked like here. We gotta get this fixed before we even put that floor on.
Before any coverings go on, the team has to install bridges, a crisscross style of bracing that will prevent this structure from sagging.
Ready?
Yeah. Did we screw up?
Yeah.
Try that. Did we screw it up?
Yeah, it's backwards.
I'm just trying to figure this out. I don't know how to do this. Like this. Is this it?
To mark the bridge correctly, you need to transfer the up and down angle of the joist onto it.
No way.
See that?
When the circular saw is set to that angle, it's just a matter of cutting measured lengths.
So better?
You want to rephrase this, please? A little better.
Is it good enough?
Good enough.
Brian P., as usual, is wasting time cutting with a handsaw.
Get the power tool out.
No.
No. You're getting the power tool, Brian. Come on.
Hey, come here. No, I don't want to.
And Angie is wasting time by cutting without measuring.
That's literally useless. You need to do that again.
All right, we're going to do it over again.
Well, I demand that we quit.
After 3 hours of bad work, Jeff and Gail are taking over from Johnny.
You guys were working for us? Get it ripped off.
With good guidance,
I want 2 more sheets brought in, please, Johnny, right now.
it takes the team less than 20 minutes to square up their frames,
Get her done.
apply adhesive,
All right, lay this down.
measure and cut new tops, and then screw them down.
We're done.
We weren't supposed to do this. The handymen were.
All 5 of us are disasters at doing this. So, I mean, this is what you get. This is what you should expect.
After the break, we name names.
The worst handyman for this episode is
nominees for Canada's Worst Handyman managed to survive this episode of demolition, workbench building, wall covering,
I would definitely not do this in my house.
and vinyl laying.
Ooh, let's get you cleaned up.
Now, it's time to decide which one of them is this episode's worst. Distracted Eric didn't lay down his vinyl.
Yeah, I know it's supposed to be on my floor.
And carefree Brian P. didn't make a workbench.
I didn't buy one.
Angie was certainly the worst plumber.
Because you smashed this?
Yeah.
You may have created bigger problems for yourself.
Johnny has the worst job still waiting for him.
Well, look down that hole.
Yeah, there's stuff down there.
And Brian M. definitely has the worst wall.
I thought I could sand this stuff down.
Oh, and let's not forget, his toilet water also leaked into the restaurant.
And there wasn't very much.
Just enough to ruin lunch. Who do you have as worst, Jeff?
I got Johnny. I mean, everything's a mess. From start to finish, nothing's really complete.
I would say Brian McDonald is much, much, much worse this episode. Brian got the purging mix all over his wall.
Yeah, but Johnny's toilet got smashed in. His pipe is full of waste. It'll never flush again.
Brian's worse than Johnny, though, isn't he? Things are getting kind of tense here at the Handyman Rehabilitation Center, yeah? So, we'll lighten the mood right now by announcing that the most improved handyman this episode is Angie.
Angie may have destroyed her bathroom, but she did eventually finish her workbench, her wall, and her floor.
Oh, nice.
Because she's the only person who got all of the challenges done this episode. Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Next episode, Angie will have to lead the group challenge.
Which brings me to the bad news of who is the worst this episode.
Probably me.
Probably me.
Probably me.
No, me.
Me. Me.
The worst handyman for this episode is...
It's not me. From hero to goat.
I can't believe it.
Brian would have been worst, except he managed to transform his floor from this to this.
By getting the adhesive off your vinyl floor, you saved your skin.
Well.
You, Johnny, saved nothing. You didn't finish a single challenge this episode. So I'm going to ask you now to take your picture down and then hang your head in shame, sir.
I can't believe it. Wow.
All right. There we go.
Thanks very much, everyone. You did great work this episode. Come with me, sir.
For extra education, Johnny is about to spend time with a chop saw.
Pull it down. That's how it cuts. Zzz.
Okay, just a bit of a fear of these things.
When this blade is set correctly, Johnny should be able to quickly make dozens of perfect bridges.
Didn't cut it the way it says. That's pretty close.
That means it's wrong. You need to get it exact.
Being exact could take Johnny all night.
No. Why did that happen? That shouldn't have happened. I didn't cut this the right way.
You've cut it so many times now it's too short.
Right. No, oh yeah, so I gotta reverse it somehow.
Are you ever going to figure this out?
I will eventually.